was actually able to drop out of university
Hmm.
just when I became profitable. I think if I was motivated more by money, I would have quit a long time ago. So my name is Connor Orwin. I'm 21 years old. I started trading at 17, so I've been in for this is my fourth year doing it. I have currently actually gone full time.
Hmm.
So yeah, just recently went full time about a couple months ago. I was actually able to drop out of university
Hmm.
just when I became profitable and consistent. So not necessarily making money, but just being able to have consistent results, more consistent results, definitely.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's me.
Great. Okay. It's good to hear you started so early and you're already profitable.
Yeah,
So you've certainly done it the right way around. Um,
yeah.
Great. So, all right. Tell us a bit about. So it took you a while to become profitable, like it does with all of us.
Mm.
What do you think changed over that period of time? What has helped you?
I think it was just reps and reps and reps. I mean, time in the market is just so important because when you really get to know yourself and you really just, cut out everything that's around you and you're just focusing on, the markets and you just really hone in on the skill set and you become intentional with the process of trading instead of,
Mm.
for me, it was always about the passion of trading, very much over the cars and the money like you see on social media. For me, it was always about passion. And
Hmm.
that's something that just kept me going for a couple of years. I mean, year in and year out, I was always passionate about the markets first. I think if I was motivated more by money, I would have quit a long time ago, like most people around me do. I see most people quit. And I think that definitely was something that kept me going.
Yeah,
And I think
indeed.
the thing that changed mostly was just knowing that it is possible. I mean, I remember after my first payout, I realized that this was actually possible because there's time in the market where you really start to doubt it. You think like, okay, is this actually just a scam? Is this actually real? But no, like it's actually it's a real thing. People
Yeah,
making money off
yeah,
of this.
yeah.
And yes, there is a lot of nonsense and stuff on social media, but if you can just tune all of that out and just put in the reps, as I said, it was 3 years before I actually made a dime, and I lost tons of money along the way. So
Mm.
yeah,
I think
manage
that's
expectations.
yeah. I think that's just
Yeah.
the journey. We all have to go through
Mm.
that period of pain and losing money, and
Yeah,
yeah, I guess humbling experience, I suppose, in a way. Um,
most definitely.
but yeah, it's time, really, like you say, time in front of the screen, time in front of the market,
Mm.
and trying to remove as much away from distraction as possible. Um,
Yeah.
so what are you trading mainly?
I'm trading gold. Gold's the only thing I trade. I mean, I used to trade a bunch of different things,
Yeah.
GA, EU, GJ, and then not so long ago, about a year ago, I just focused predominantly on gold. I really just got a feel for the
Yeah.
way it moves, the way, just becoming in tune with the way gold moves, particularly. It's something that I studied all 3 years and now in my fourth year. And it's something I just decided, you know what? If I can get really good at one thing and if I can focus on
Mm.
one thing, there's no point in focusing on a bunch of different things and you're still not making money.
No.
There's tons of people that will try figure out all the charts, but instead of trying to conquer the market, it's more just about making a strategy and making a process that's simple to follow because simplicity is definitely the key
Yeah.
in my trading. Once you really know a pair very, very well and you know what its move was yesterday, last week, you can, it becomes very easy just to stay in tune with that. So yeah,
Mm.
just trading gold at the moment. Stopped
Mm.
trading all the other things about a year ago and just focused on gold.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah,
I think trading's hard enough as it is without having to focus on multiple pairs. So yeah,
exactly,
choose
exactly.
one and just become a master of that one.
Yeah,
You don't need any more to be profitable.
yeah.
Okay, and I'm assuming you're a day trader. I don't know why, but
Yes, day
yeah,
trader. Yeah,
yeah.
day trader. So with just the way the gold moves, I mean, you can catch 100 pips in a very short space of time. I don't
Yeah.
necessarily like to hold positions. I'm not a fan of swing trading. Don't like to have
No.
positions running overnight. It's just with the way my brain works. I'm always thinking about the markets. I want to have some
Mm.
time to just be able to switch off and just be able to like, okay, I'm going to leave the market for a bit. I like to catch my move for the day and then be done.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I did try swing trading. Unfortunately, it just didn't work with my style. My brain is very fast paced. I like to be able to,
Mm.
analyze the
Mm.
market now for what it's doing, not with it's going to be, a couple
Yeah.
months, especially only focusing on one pair. You don't want to now wait for one pair and, just to play out over a couple weeks or a couple days. I'd
Yeah.
rather just, be in tune with it now and just focus on, the intraday moves,
Yeah.
couple
No, I
hours.
agree. Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
healthier day trading in and out,
Mm,
done and dusted, and then yeah,
yeah,
if it was a good day, great. If it may take a loss, doesn't matter. We'll move on to the next day. It's just yeah,
exactly.
it's yeah. No, I agree. I'm the same. So okay. And what sort of style? Like, what are your what's the secret sauce? The strategy?
So, I mean, I haven't watched any ICT videos, SMT. I'm gonna be honest with you, I know nothing about that. Um,
Hmm.
my mentor was actually Sean Lee. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but he was a very popular guy in the
Yeah.
trading space.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I actually learned from him a lot from him when he was,
Hmm.
just posting information. And the biggest thing for me was I focused on one guy. Okay, so the guy that was actually teaching me. I did not hop around. So I did not start learning ICT. I did not start learning SMT when
Hmm.
something, I felt like didn't work. I practiced what works for me. So I took his style and then I practiced it daily in gold. And then I found out what works for me and what doesn't. And I kind of just,
Hmm.
tailored all of those things to me. And that was the biggest
Hmm.
thing. Like just daily, I was just finding out what works for me. Okay, what
Hmm.
risk management works for me. And then eventually I just took a bunch of things from his style and made it into my own. And I would say the biggest thing was that I didn't strategy hop. I know there's a lot of people like, okay, this thing just a couple
Hmm.
times didn't work out. And now flip, okay,
Yeah.
let's just see. Like, let me try find the golden strategy. There is no golden strategy. There really isn't. It's just about what works for you, finding out what is tailored to you and tailored to your personality and just, yeah, putting in the reps, as I said in the beginning. So yeah,
Yeah.
I wouldn't put a specific name on the strategy I use. I learned from him. I
Hmm.
really found his strategy and his personality to be very consistent with the way that I think and I approach the market. So yeah, I really enjoyed it, and that's actually where I found my passion for the markets,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. You touched on something there. It's that whole shiny penny syndrome, isn't it? Where people just hop
Mm,
to the next thing that's on Twitter or
mm,
social media, and they just keep, like you say, hunting for that next
mm.
holy grail system. So, so you're a technical trader. You're looking for
Yes,
you
100%.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're looking at price action candlesticks.
Purely
Um,
price action.
yeah. Do you want to maybe
Yeah.
share a screen? Give us an example of a setup.
Sure. No worries. Okay, so my strategy, it's been the same for a while now. It's what's tailored to me. I have two gold charts here, okay, BTC and
Hmm.
those. I just keep those open, just just to check on them every now and then. So
Hmm.
my strategy, pretty much exactly the same. I always start off on the higher time frames, weekly, daily, always on
Hmm.
the higher time frames. What I'll do is on the weekly, I'll place a significant grid. So I'm not using, support or resistance or whatever the nuanced terms are. I'm placing grids. Okay, so the weekly highs and weekly lows. I'll be placing
Hmm.
grids on the charts, as you can see, and I'll be
Hmm.
kind of using those weekly grids as take profit areas and areas that I will be taking trades to and from. Okay, and then same with the daily. So once I have my weekly grids on, once I have everything I need on there, I keep it relatively hygienic. Hard chart hygiene is kind of key for me,
Hmm.
particularly. I'll
Hmm.
do the same on the daily time frame, placing significant grids over here, as I said, marks on the daily,
Lows and
um,
highs. Hmm.
lows and highs, exactly, and then see how price plays in between these lows and highs. And not only that, but I'm looking at structure,
Hmm.
price action. As I said, my charts are naked. There's no indicators on my charts whatsoever. I'm purely looking at candles. I'm purely looking at price action. That's the only thing I focus on.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
key.
so
Hmm.
yeah, for instance, we have this weekly grid over here. Price tested back into this weekly grid. Okay, but we came and we made another lower high on gold. And I was able to actually catch this short trade quite nicely, because I noticed, okay, constantly we're going lower and lower. So
Hmm.
every day is coming and we're making lower highs. Yes, we did chop around for a while on gold, but I can see that every day we are, building up
Hmm.
momentum to slowly go lower. We did not take out the previous high over here. Okay.
Hmm.
I'm not going too much into that, obviously, but it's just price action. And then when I go to the lower time frames, so these are the time frames that I will be using above here, which is mostly the 90 minutes. And then once I go from the 90 minutes, it's kind of like a web. So I'll start from the highest and go into the lower time frames. If I have a
Hmm.
very clear picture on the higher time frames, it becomes very easy for me to dissect the lower time
Yeah,
frames. And
sure.
honestly, where I started in my trading journey, it was, lower time frames to higher time frames, but it becomes so hard to figure out what price is going to do and what the market's going to do if you start on the lower time frames. For me, it just completely racks my brain. So
Mm.
as I explained on the daily already, we were making consistent lower highs. I now kind of have a thing in the back of my mind, like, okay, price is creating lower highs. I'm looking for sells. I'm not really looking for buys. I can see price chopping around in a range over here. Slowly, we are building to the downside. Slowly, price is actually starting to push
Mm.
to the downside. What I have on the 90-minute kind of just confirmed that to me. Okay, so we created a significant high. NFP came out, significant lower high. We did not again take out this previous high.
Mm.
Again, lower high. You can see how traders kind of get tricked into thinking, okay, price is finally breaking out over here, bull run over
Yeah.
here. Price comes
Mm-hmm.
back down. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
exactly the same. And this was on Tuesday. Yes, correct. Tuesday. So now we've had significant high, lower, and lower.
Mm-hmm.
What does price do? It makes that high again, pushes into an area of structure. So as I said, all I'm looking at is structure,
Mm-hmm.
and then we pull down completely. So if
Yeah.
I go to my lower time frames, I'll just explain more in the short that I actually did take. Once I've got the higher time frame thesis and the higher time frame tooling together, it kind of becomes clear for me as I explained those three lower highs. I knew what price was going to do. We pushed into the lows, we pushed back, made it
Mm-hmm.
another lower high, tricking traders above all these highs over here. Not only that,
Mm-hmm.
but we stopped out everyone that was going short over here. So think about how many people's stop
Yeah.
losses were over here.
Yeah.
Price
Yeah.
took them out. Not only that, but then we just were consistent with structure. We trapped
Mm.
everyone on this big bullish move over here, and then price absolutely
And then boom.
melted. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
melted. So
Mm-hmm.
very, very important there. I mean, it's
I
it's
love it
quite
when you
easy
have a
on the
trend line like that where everyone thinks that trend line's holding and then it just rips through it.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, for me, this wasn't really a trend line. It was just to kind of just paint in my picture, like I'm painting my mind, like, okay, the
Mm-hmm.
lower highs are consistent. It's consistent with what I'm thinking
Yeah.
on the daily and the
Yeah.
weekly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, yeah, all I could say was on the 10 minutes, try to find these significant regions of volume. I
Mm-hmm.
saw price push above this region of volume. Not only that, but then again, we took out all the short traders over there. Okay. You
Yeah.
just have to
Yeah.
think about how the 90 percent of people think, the 95% of people think. You can
Mm-hmm.
think in the opposite way, then that's you're already a big step ahead of the game, in all
Mm-hmm.
honesty. So yes, we had that push above the highs. Many people would think, okay, gold is finally breaking out.
Breaking out. Yeah.
No, what do
Mm-hmm.
we do? Yeah, what do we do? We smack back through the lows over
Mm-hmm.
here. So as I said, it's from the daily all the way into the 90 minutes, and then we slowly just
Mm-hmm.
build price lower down to focus on actual precise entry points, not try to get trapped in between these lows over here or anywhere
Yeah.
in between. We're trying to get in as precise as possible. So yeah,
Mm.
I would say that's just the main thing. So yeah, that's more or
Great.
less my strategy, taking time frames from high to low. Yeah.
Great. And you're looking at trading at a particular time of day, or is there a strict restriction
Uh,
when you
mostly
trade?
it's Mostly it's pre-Asia London session. So obviously London session we're opening up at 8 my time.
Mm.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
not 8 my time, sorry, about 9 my time because it's an hour ahead. So yeah, it's mostly my entries are being taken in the beginning of the London session, and then I have a trade idea for the day. As I said, I'm not back and forth trading either. Um, for instance, this a short was taken here. I took that out for the day. I saw price rally back up. I don't usually like to trade as the New York session's about to open. I don't usually like to, but I just saw an opportunity. So it kind of varies. But most of
Mm-hmm.
the time it'll be in the beginning of the London session.
London
So
session. Yeah.
yeah, most of the
Mm-hmm.
time. And then London session is usually quite calm, and then the fire will come in the New York session, and the moves will happen then. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's honestly, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it just varies.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the bias was obvious there from the higher time frame. You waited for the
Mm.
push higher on the. What was the actual entry model on that 10 minute? Are you looking for something specific at those highs
Yeah,
to get in?
yeah. So as I said, it's just kind of significant highs and significant lows.
Mm.
So I'm waiting for price to basically just manipulate those highs and lows. I know how gold works. So
Okay.
to
So
a
you'll just
point where
sell
it's
in.
just like,
You'll sell into that, will you?
yeah, exactly,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. So I
Okay.
mean, I think gold
Mm-hmm.
just works very precise like that. Like it'll
Mm.
trick traders in one direction, and then from a particular point, dump,
Mm.
or it'll trick
Yeah.
traders buys.
Mm.
Okay, and then if you have that, okay, that's the big thing because if you just were working off the lower time frames, you'd think, okay, that looks really good for a
Bullish.
buy. Like
Yeah.
we've broken here,
Yeah.
we've
Yeah.
retested this area of
Mm.
support now. And we're
Mm.
gonna push higher, but if you know the
Mm-hmm.
back of your head, okay, time
Yeah.
frames are telling me,
Mm.
bearish, then it's easy. It becomes easy like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just waiting
Okay.
for price to manipulate highs and lows, I would say.
And you'd have a sell limit up there, or would you just execute at market when
No,
when prices are good?
I don't use sell limits or buy limits.
No,
I just that's never really worked for me. I'll just,
no.
play
It's
price more. It's more an intuitive thing, so it's all more up to discretion. I don't like to use sell and buy limits. So yeah,
yeah,
it's actually just market execution.
market execution. Yeah. Okay. No
Yeah,
worries. Sure.
yeah.
And you usually execute on the 10, something like that.
Yeah, yeah. So I've just
Yeah.
found that these time frames work for me 10, 30 minutes daily,
Yeah.
weekly.
Yeah.
I used to use a bunch of time frames as well, but over time you just realize what works for you, what doesn't work for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. You
So yeah,
slowly
10
you
minutes,
slow
10
slowly
minutes,
reduce the number that you use, don't you? Yeah.
exactly 10 minutes, even a 3 minutes if I want to look at significant highs and significant lows,
Yeah.
that's
Mm-hmm.
also fine, but sometimes it's just the 10 minutes. That's
Mm-hmm.
all it really is. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a nice time frame. 5, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
Okay. Cool. All
definitely.
right. I think we get a good idea of the strategy. Thanks for
Yeah.
sharing that. That's good.
Awesome. No
Um,
worries.
can we see your dashboard, or is that something you'd rather keep to yourself?
Sure. No, I don't mind at all. um,
Some people like to keep these things private, but yeah, we'll
no worries. I'll do that. Um,
just take a look at your stats. Really, just
okay. Yeah. So I
okay,
must say
looking good.
after the short on gold on Tuesday, I think it was.
Mm,
I've actually encountered a bit of losses, so
mm-hmm,
it is what it is there. But I would say my win rate is usually a lot higher than it is at the moment.
mm-hmm.
But then again, risk reward's always almost still 1 to 2. So I mean, that's just
Yeah.
goes to show you don't really need to have a high win rate to make a lot of money. It just has to
No,
be
no, no,
about
no. One to
both
two
in tandem.
is plenty. 1 to 2 is plenty. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah, yeah. You
yeah.
just need to, yeah, like you say, win rate. Get that back to 50% or more, then you'll be on your
Mm,
way, won't you? So, yeah.
yeah.
So, okay. So you're currently trading 100k stellar. Um, and yeah. So yeah, looking good. Apart from the just um, and then your average trades. What do you? What sort of risk are you
Sure.
putting
I
in
must
these
say,
trades?
as I said, I have a trade idea for the day. It
Mm-hmm.
depends if I don't have necessarily a a per idea amount of trades I'll put on. If I'm feeling very confident in the trade and the trade, like the stop loss, for instance, on that gold short was very, very, very small, I'll add some
Mm-hmm.
more size to it, especially if I'm feeling very, very confident about the trade. Obviously it varies. You have to play the probabilities, just because you're confident the market can do something completely other. So it'll be an intuitive thing. If I
Mm-hmm.
feel like a trade's going to run into a particular area, yes, I'll put on more size, but it all depends on confidence and intuition. That not only just am I just feeling in the moment, but I'll build that confidence over time. I've put back to back work in to build that confidence. So most of the time, I look to risk about 1 to 2%. Sometimes it does go over that, I must say. There's been a lot of psychological challenges that I've worked through, but I would say, trying to make back what I lost sometimes can be a bit of an issue, but I just have to, it's just something I have to work on. I think every trader
Mm-hmm.
has their thing that they need to work on.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's just constantly being self-aware, conscious of the mistakes you're making, and then working on that. So yeah, as I said, not particularly proud of these stats, but I mean, I did get the account a couple of days ago. So yeah,
No,
we'll
no,
see.
nothing to be ashamed of there at all. No, 50-50,
Yeah,
50-50 with a 1.2. That's yeah, it's all good.
yeah,
Okay, thanks, Connor. You can
no
stop sharing
worries.
your screen now. So,
Awesome.
take it you're happy with FundedNext. Anything we could change that you would like to see, or
I'm very happy with FundedNext at the moment. As I said, I was kind of just looking for a very reliable prop firm. And what does everyone do? They'll just go on Trustpilot, and
mm-hmm.
FundedNext did not disappoint in terms of Trustpilot reviews. So I was like, okay, let's give this a try. And everything through the support, and the KYC, everything, it was very, very straightforward. Very, very seamless. The process was very, very seamless. Not only that, but I would say the 15% bonus that you actually get. If making 5% on your account, I did do that did get to that in the first profits for the day, and I was very, very, I was impressed with that.
Mm-hmm.
Just rewarding traders that think have a more longevity mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that's great. I've had no
Good
issues
stuff.
whatsoever with that.
Great,
Yeah,
good to hear. All right, anything you'd like to see them
yeah.
offer? Are you happy with the spreads on gold? Is there anything else you'd like to be added? I mean,
I'm
you
pretty
happy with
happy, I would say. Yeah,
use MT5 for execution?
MT4 actually. I don't know why. I'm just
MT4,
weird like
old
that. I
school.
guess I use MT4. Yeah,
I don't think
yeah.
it makes much difference from a spread perspective or an
No, I
execution
don't think
perspective.
so.
So, Okay, well, as long as you're happy with the platforms and the spread, I think it's
Yeah,
pretty tight on gold, isn't it? Actually, it's pretty good.
yeah,
Uh,
it's pretty tight. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for your time. Thanks
no
for sharing
worries.
everything, and yeah, good luck, and speak to you again.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. Speak to you again
Okay.
soon.
See
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye.